Hey cuties, happy Wednesday. You ready for a joke? Alexa, tell me and my students a joke.
How many sheep does it take to change a light bulb? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good night.
That's funny because people count sheep so they can fall asleep. All right, we're going to do our read aloud today of A Long Pitch Home by Natalie Lorenzi. We're going to read 2 chapters today. We're going to find out what happened to Bilal's dad. All right, chapter 25. It takes another 2 days before our call finally gets through to Karachi. Dado explains that they wouldn't let Baba leave because he didn't have all the right stamps and signatures on his papers. They made him stay at the airport to answer all their questions before they would let him make any phone calls or go back home. Dado says this is all Mudassir's father's doing. Baba says that Dado is right. He is a powerful man in this city, with many friends who owe him favors, Baba sighs. But I will find a way. Can't we go back home? I ask. But Ami only shakes her head and leaves the room. I never thought I would be thankful for baseball, but I am. I have no baseball memories with Baba. When I'm out on the field, it is easy to go for an hour or more without thinking of him. I used to try to imagine Baba there in the stands, cheering me on, but lately his face is fading more and more in my mind. At baseball practice, all anyone can talk about is qualifying for the semifinals at Nats Park. With each win, the Cardinals get closer to the exhibition game, closer to playing under the big lights, as Coach Matt says. I don't even care about winning that game anymore. My pitching has gotten better and better, but I am still nowhere near as good as Jordan. For the big game, it will be Jordan out there on the mound, and I will be sitting in the dugout. Jack can't stop talking about the game. My dad works on the hill, so he's got special tickets for the game, right up with the VIPs. Jack nods like he's the one who went out and got the special tickets. It's all about who you know. I don't know what hill he's talking about until Akash whispers, Jack's always going on about his dad and Capitol Hill and how important the government, blah, blah, blah. Akash rolls his eyes. That's how it is with politicians. They're always doing favors for each other, pulling strings. I still can't think of Omar Khan as a politician. To me, he is still the world's best cricket player. I would give anything to meet him. Maybe I should care if our team wins, because if we do, then we get to shake hands with the VIPs. I'll bring a Sharpie pen and ask Omar Khan to autograph my arm, and then I'll never wash it again. The Cardinals make it to the semifinal game, and Coach Pablo says we haven't had a season like this year ever. My teammates whoop and clap as we board the bus for Nats Park. All right, folks, Coach Matt says after we've taken our seats. Let's bring the volume down a notch and focus on the game ahead. Remember, the outcome does not matter as long as you try your best, which we all know is a lie. Winning does matter to the Cardinals and now to me if it means that I'll get to meet Omar Khan. Jordan sits 3 seats in front of me, alone, of course. I wonder if she's nervous. Probably not. Our bus drives past the main entrance of the park where people stream into the gate under a red sign that reads Nationals Park, Center Field Gate. Shiny silver baseballs as big as me line the top of the wall along the street. I see a distorted reflection of our bus on the underside of each giant silver baseball as we move through traffic and turn a corner. This side of the stadium isn't fancy like the front. It looks more like an office building or apartments. We get off the bus and walk through a black gate, the one Akash says the players use. I wonder if this is the gate that Omar Khan will walk through. I only catch a glimpse of the bright green grass of the field before we turn right through a door leading into the belly of the stadium. Pipes hanging far above us, and our cleats echo as we walk past the guest team's locker room. Then we take a left and head up the ramp and out into the sun and the noise of the crowd. The biggest TV screen I've ever seen rises above the far end of the field. The grass has a checkerboard pattern running through it, and home plate is surrounded by a perfect circle of white sand with that big loopy W right behind it. The coaches lead us down the steps to our dugout, where we sit on a long wooden bench. It feels kind of like being in a fort, hidden halfway underground with the crowd behind us and the field in front, right at eye level. The Loudoun team emerges from the other dugout and starts warming up, so Coach Matt calls the Cardinals out to the field too. I probably don't even need to warm up since Jordan will be pitching the whole game anyway. It only takes me a few seconds before I notice the kid on the Loudoun team, a lefty, throwing the ball back and forth with his teammate. I peer through the green fence between the dugout and the field. Coach Matt said Loudoun didn't have any southpaws. I wonder if Jordan has noticed him yet. When Sebastian didn't end up joining the Cardinals, that left only one lefty, me, and Jordan never has trouble striking me out. But a lefty who can swing? I wonder if she's worried. As I scan the crowd for my family, the announcer's voice booms over the loudspeaker. Hello, baseball fans! The crowd cheers and waves in the direction of a gigantic. Jeez, oh Pete, sorry guys. The crowd cheers and waves in the direction of a gigantic TV screen, while a camera somewhere sweeps across the crowd. The announcer welcomes the VIPs as the camera zooms in on their faces. I spot him right away. Omar Khan. I can't believe Baba is missing this. The camera pans some more, and there's Jack's dad. He's talking to some of the VIPs, smiling and shaking hands. Jack must be right. It's all about who you know. That's when the idea hits me like a baseball out of left field. Omar Khan. He must know people who can get Baba to America. But how will I get a chance to talk to him? Guys in suits with dark sunglasses surround the VIP section right behind home plate. Would they let a kid in? Jack can get me in. His dad is practically sitting right behind Omar Khan. Uh-oh. I'm curious to what's going to happen. When we finish warming up, I ask if Jack can help me. He shakes his head. I don't have my phone. There's a phone in the dugout, an old-fashioned one with no numbers on it, so no way to dial. Jack seems to read my mind. That's the direct line to the press box. He nods at a row of glass windows above the VIP's seats. I have to think of another way. Looking around at the security guards, I realize there is only one way to meet Omar Khan. The Cardinals have to win. A group of men step out onto the field with microphones. They say something about how baseball should be in the Olympics, but my brain is thinking too hard to listen. Finally, they get out of the way so the game can start. According to Coach Pablo, there will be 5 innings instead of 6, since this is an exhibition game and the VIPs are very busy people. A group of kids in jeans and matching t-shirts come out and sing the national anthem. I put my hand over my heart like everyone else, which reminds me of Baba's and my secret sign to each other. 2 pats over the heart. The announcer yells, "Play ball!" Everyone stands and shouts and stomps their feet. Our team bats first, and Carlos gets to second base on his first hit. When Akash gets a single, though, Carlos is out at third. It goes on like this, 1 hit, 1 out, back and forth, with no one crossing home plate. 3 outs, and now Loudoun is up to bat. Loudoun cannot win at this game. It has to be us. Everyone scrambles to take their field positions. I'm left in the dugout with the coaches, who haven't taken their eyes off the field. Jordan's first pitch is so fast, I don't even think the batter knew she'd sent it until it was in Akash's glove. The Loudoun batter hits a foul ball and then a lucky single. The next batter looks fidgety, and he should be. But when Jordan winds up to pitch, she doesn't throw the ball. Instead, she drops her arm and leans over, hands on her knees. I hope she doesn't throw up. But no, she stands and pitches. The batter hits it over second and makes it to third before Nate can send it back infield to Jack on third. Safe. The next batter strikes out, and the kid after him makes it to second, and the kid from third makes it home. 2 runs for Ladune, 0 for the Cardinals. The next kid up is the lefty I saw earlier. I know Jordan hates this, but she can do it. Or, so I thought. Home run, 2 more runs, 0-4. Coach Pablo chews his gum so fast it looks like his jaw will pop at any second. The next inning isn't much better. I spot another lefty on the Ladune team. That makes 2. We finally score a run, but so does Ladune. 1-5. We are going to lose the game, but I can't lose my only chance to meet Omar Khan. Once the game ends and everyone is leaving the stands, I'll run over and try to get past the security guards to the VIP section. We almost catch up in the next inning, but we're behind. We're still behind by 1 run at the top of the 4th, 4-5. At the bottom of the 4th, we are still behind by 1. Something is wrong with Jordan. She's taking longer and longer to throw her pitches, and she's off whenever the lefties are up to bat. She's going to cost the Cardinals the game. Coach Matt waves me over. I stand by his side, but he turns to Coach Pablo instead. I think it's time. It takes Coach Pablo a second to look at me, like it pains him to take his eyes off the field. Coach Pablo shakes his head. Jordan's doing fine. He winces when a Ladune lefty hits a double. Coach Pablo looks sideways at me now, his jaw working his piece of gum slower and slower until it stops altogether. Coach Matt nods. I say, put him on the mound. He pulls his gaze from the field and looks at me, searching my face for confidence I don't feel. He meets Jordan as she comes down into the dugout, while I stay on the opposite end. I slump into the bench, my stomach in my throat. I thought Jordan would look mad, but she looks empty. Something is definitely wrong, but I don't have time to figure that out now. Top of the 5th, and we're up to bat. We're still down by 1 by the time my turn comes up. Let's just say my turn at bat is over pretty quickly. 2 more outs, 1 more run, and now we're tied. No one talks as we head onto the field, but we can't stop smiling. If this ends in a tie, we have to go into the extra innings. Only 1 team gets to go to Toronto, and only 1 team gets to meet the VIPs. All I need is a few minutes with Omar Khan, enough time to ask for his help to bring Baba home. Time for the bottom of the 5th, the last half of the last inning. I take the mound, willing my breakfast to stay in my stomach. But I forget about my stomach when I spot Omar Khan through the safety net behind home plate. I am close enough to see the white crescent moon and star on his green tie, like the flag of Pakistan. He is on his phone, shaking his head. Frowning, he tucks his phone back into his pocket. I force my gaze back to the batter. He finishes up his good luck routine with 3 taps of the bat on home plate, and he's ready to go, and so am I. I let the ball fly. It's a hit, but he only gets to first. Next batter, strike 1. Again, strike 2. But this time the kid on first races to second, catching our shortstop totally by surprise. Safe! This kid really wants to go to Toronto. Well, so do the Cardinals. I take a deep breath. With my 3rd pitch, the crack of wood on the ball sends the batter sprinting towards first. But it's a foul ball, and up and behind home plate, and a cash never lets it hit the ground. Out! I look over at Omar Khan to see if he's paying attention. He's back on his phone again, looking more unhappy than before. And speaking of unhappy, Jordan looks miserable, slumped in the dugout with her arms folded and eyes on the ground. I take a breath, focus. The next batter looks as nervous as I feel, and he's out without ever touching bat to ball. Now now all I need to do is strike out one more batter and we'll go into extra innings. The next batter gets a single and the base stealer is now on third. Next to bat is a lefty. It's up to me. I shake out my pitching arm, then look up into the stands where Omar Khan is shaking hands with the other VIPs. He makes his way down the row. Maybe he's only stretching his legs. A man wearing sunglasses helps him into a jacket. Omar Khan is leaving. My heart drops to my feet. I race back to the dugout where my teammates stand frozen, staring at me like I'm crazy. Bilal, Coach Pablo rips off his cap. What are you doing? Get back out there. Coach Matt sounds like he's about to pitch me back to the mound himself. I don't have time to answer. I pull the Sharpie from my bag, scribble on the ball, and then throw the marker down before racing back out to the field. The words I wrote on the ball seem to pulse against my palm as I take the mound. I study the lefty as he studies me, a smug grin on his face. I have to strike this kid out to win. I have to get Omar Khan to stay. The crowd whistles and claps, ready for my pitch. I watch as Omar Khan shakes the hand of the last VIP on his row before jogging down to the men who talked into the microphone before the game started. Flanked by his bodyguards, he shakes their hands and then lifts his own in a final wave. I glance at the batter, his elbows high, bat at the ready. The crowd is in a frenzy, stomping and waving. Their shouts filling my ears. Omar Khan moves from behind the safety net to shake one more hand. It's now or never. He's going to throw the ball at him. I let the ball fly, and it goes right where I want it to, straight into the stands toward Omar Khan. I can almost see my Urdu words scrawled on the ball as they spin around and around, the ball spiraling, falling. One of the bodyguards shouts and points, wiping off his sunglasses. Omar Khan turns as if in slow motion, reaches up and snatches my ball from the air, his fingers closing around my message. He waves at me and smiles, then tosses the ball to one of his bodyguards as he turns and walks back underneath the President's Club sign and into the building. The great Omar Khan does not look back, and he never looked at the ball. I stand there on the mound, shoulders slumped as the Ladun team goes crazy. Who knew that pitching the ball into the stands means the other team gets to advance one base? Which means Ladun wins, we lose, and I have lost my chance to get Baba to America. Chapter 26. No one talks to me as we board the bus for home. Everyone talks about me, just not to me. Everyone, except for Jordan, who doesn't talk to anyone, as usual. Even the coaches avoid me. The only thing Coach Matt said to me when I walked off the field was, "Why, Bilal?" He didn't even look mad, just hurt and confused. I slide into a seat at the very back of the bus, hoping no one will sit near me. No one does. Akash comes back anyways, and I make room for him, even though I don't feel like talking. But Akash doesn't sit. He stands in the aisle next to my seat. When he speaks, his voice simmers with anger. That wild pitch? Into the stands? You did that on purpose. There was nothing I can say. Traitor. Akash turns and heads to another seat. The weight of that last word is too heavy. It pushes me down, and I lie with my back on the seat, looking up at the curved metal ceiling of the bus. Words like loser fly past my ears, but words mean something different to me than they do to my team. Traitor is Mudassir's father, who betrayed his very best friend. Loser is me, but not in the way my teammates think. I lost more than just a baseball game. I have lost my father. The bus pulls up to our home field where our parents wait for us. I stay in my seat until the last player shuffles off the bus. I look out through the tinted windows as the other families head towards their car. They're all probably mad at me too. When I pass the bus driver, he pats me on the shoulder. There'll be other games, kid. You guys did your best. He obviously wasn't at the game. I can see through the windows that that the only family left waiting was mine. I spot Hira holding limp pom-poms in her hands. Humza hugs a huge foam hand that reads, "We are number one." That's almost as big as he is. I clunk down the steps. Ami steps forward, arms open, and hugs me. I close my eyes to keep tears in, but a few squeeze out anyways. Hira rushes to join the hug, and so does Humza, who has no idea why we're hugging. Auntie wraps her arms around us, followed by Uncle, and even Jalal joins in the group hug. We are standing this way when the bus pulls away from the curb and rumbles off down the road. I have decided to quit baseball. The Cardinals don't need me. They have Jordan. Jalal does not take this news well. "You can't quit." He throws the baseball extra hard, but I catch it in my glove, no problem. My only answer is to throw a harder ball back. Jalal catches it, no problem. "So you wanted to meet Omar Khan. You got distracted." I did not tell my family why I threw that crazy ball. I feel stupid for thinking that I would somehow help Baba get here. "It's not the end of the world." Jalal sends the ball back, and my glove stops in mid-air. "No, but it's the end of the Toronto trip." I think of how badly everyone wanted to go, including the coaches. But Jalal is hearing none of it. "You guys will be there for the state championship game in July instead, and the Loudoun team won't, because they'll be having fun up in Toronto, and even if the Cardinals win the state championship, it won't feel like winning if their biggest competition isn't even there." Jalal tucks the ball back into my bag. "Just go to today's practice, then see how you feel." He tosses me the bag. "If you still want to quit after today, then quit." I hate the word quit, but I'm not going to stay on the team if everyone hates me. I know Jalal will be disappointed. If Baba were here, he'd be more than disappointed. He'd never let me quit in the middle of a season. He'd say I owe it to the team to play to the end. Okay, I'll go to practice, but only for today. I think I see Jalal grin as he ducks into the car, but I can't tell for sure. We pull out of the driveway and head down the street. Before we get to the stop sign, Jalal stops in front of Jordan's house. "What are you doing?" Jalal shrugs. "We're giving Jordan a ride. Coach Matt's heading over from work and doesn't have time to swing home to pick her up." I sigh. Jalal nods towards the house. "Go up and knock, will you? We're running kind of late." I step out of the car and roll my eyes. I should have said I wasn't going to practice at all. The yellow ribbon on the tree out front is faded and frayed. The pink blossoms fluttering down from the branches only make the ribbon seem more drab. Before I raise my hand to knock, Jordan yanks the door open. I brace myself for her anger, but she stands there silent. So I talk. "I'm sorry about the game." She doesn't say anything, so I keep talking. "I'm quitting the team." She shakes her head. "Don't. You're too good to quit." "But I lost the game." She folds her arms. "It wasn't my best game either." In the hours since my epic error, I had forgotten all about the way Jordan had played, almost like she had been in a daze. "Were you sick?" I ask. She shakes her head, takes a deep breath, then stops, like she's trying to decide if she should tell me something. "It's my dad. He got hurt over there. They don't know how bad yet." Her voice trails off, and she looks at her shoes. I had been prepared for her to hate me because I lost the game. Now I only wish that were the reason she looked so devastated. I don't know what to say. She doesn't know Baba can't come to America yet. I never told her because we weren't speaking to each other. My shoulders slump. "I'm sorry." I begin, but she shakes her head hard enough to set her curls bouncing. "You don't have to be sorry because he's going to be fine." I recognize myself in the set of her jaw. I've become an expert at talking myself into believing Baba will be fine too. When you are trying to hold yourself together, you don't want to see sympathy on other people's faces. You want them to lie and tell you that everything will be okay. But I'm also sorry about something else. Jordan grabs her bag and steps out, pulling the door closed behind her. She starts towards the car, but I don't move. Wait, I say. She turns and looks at me. I, I'm sorry about not always being your friend. She looks at me like she's trying to decide if she believes me or not. Maybe she hates me. Finally, she nods. Thanks, Bilal. She turns and I follow her to the car. We ride to practice in silence. I am lost in a jumble of thoughts. Jordan's father, Baba, me quitting, and not just quitting baseball, quitting hope. We park just as Akash's van pulls past us. When he gets out, I try to catch his eye, hoping he'll see how sorry I am, but he shakes his head and turns away. Heading over to the field where the rest of the team is just hanging out. The coaches stand near the dugout, talking to some men in suits. They're probably all talking about how they hope I didn't show up. When Jordan and I get to the field, everyone's voices fade to whispers and then to silence. Akash turns his back when he sees me, and Henry never even glances in my direction. Jalal lingers on the edge of the field, watching like he's waiting to see if I'm okay. Coach Matt strides over. Instead of telling us to start warming up, he jabs his thumb over his shoulder at the dugout behind him, and looks straight at me. There's someone here to see you. I turn. My breath catches my throat. There, standing in the shadow of the dugout, is Omar Khan. What? Oh my gosh. How cool. We're going to have to find out what happens tomorrow, but what a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. Omar Khan is there to see him. What? Oh my gosh, I cannot even believe it. I can't wait till tomorrow so we can see what happens. Ah! Okay, I'm so excited. We have to wait though. Alrighty, my friends. Now we did our read aloud, so now I'd like you to head on over to iReady, and I'd like you to spend 20 minutes on iReady Math and 20 minutes on iReady Reading. So that's 40 minutes together, 20 and 20, okay? Alrighty, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm so excited to see what happens in our book. Ah! See ya.